Okay, so like basically the show is it's called Nakaimo. My little sister is among them. But let's be honest here. It is a very gooner show, undoubtedly. It's R plus 18 plus on high anime. That is my chosen site for piracy. Uh, basically, the plot of the show goes a little something like this, man. So there's this guy, right? And he is the son of like super big business guy, right? His dad dies, right? And at like the funeral and all that, like at like the will and stuff, his mom comes up to him and's like, "Hey, playa, you gotta go to high school now, and you gotta find yourself a little honey to marry by the end of the year if you wanna, inherit this company, so you can make bands on bread like that." But then, also at the funeral, uh, there's this little larper comes up, on the phone, comes up, makes a sneak appearance in all black, face obscured type shit, and she's like, "Yo, playa, I am your little sister." What? Because like this guy, he don't got a sister. You feel me? Like this is long lost little half sister, right? Because apparently his dad had a kid with some other hoe instead of his mama, and like you know, but here's where things get a little bit crazy, a little interesting. You know, this guy, he goes off to school, right? And he has to find someone to marry by the end of the year, or else he doesn't get his company, right? But his sister really, really wants to marry him. So, we meet this cast of like little small group of five main girls for him to maybe marry. But one of them's a sister, and like they all be competing for him, doing all this and that, try and get him for them. And his sister's trying too. But this whole time, there's this secret agent, Hitman 47 type girl, who's like his bodyguard, right? Trying to make sure like he don't get hurt, nothing happens. You feel me? But she's like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna help you out. Try to help you find your sister, so you don't end up marrying your sister, player. You feel me?" And like she just be like popping up and shit. Oh, and she cross dresses, by the way. She like shows up as a guy, like goes to school as a guy. You know, it be like that sometimes. You feel me? She the baddest character in the whole show. She not even like one of the main interests, man. Like she not even on the table, but she bad. And I say she bad is because remember, this is a full gooner show. This is R plus 18 plus. They be showing them titties, bro. On real, on phone them. So like, she just be chilling in his apartment, butt booty naked, letting the wind go. Letting all hang out. The show gives a reason for it. It's so dumb. It's so she doesn't leave any DNA traces in the apartment or like anything, right? Which is stupid because she literally leaves a DNA trace, and she leaves like a big ass strand of hair in one of the later episodes. So like, bro, what the hell? But like, I think that she's the one that like has the most nudity in the show, just overall, you know. And you know, this is spoilers for like the full show. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. It's some gooner shit. But like, you know, the main thing about the show is that each one of the girls is like a different little sister archetype in anime, right? So, you know, you got like the really sweet one, you got like the tsundere one, you got like the one that's like above the main character and whatever, you know, the one that's like all shy, and like the one that's like super bubbly and kind of dumb, right? That's the main 5. And then, you know, the secret agent girl is like she's like the cold one, cold, calculated, smart type, you know. But like, you know, in episode 8, you know, bunch of stuff happens, right? Over the show, get a couple fake outs about who the sister is. You know, keep it interesting, right? But in episode 8, this new girl shows up, and she is not a love interest, right? She a new character, and she shows up, moves in next door to the main guy, and is like, "What up, playa? I'm your sister for real. On my mama." And she like, "Oh, dude, you know, you wouldn't know, but you're just not in the know, you know. They told everyone I was your second, third cousin type, but I'm actually your long lost half sister, you know, like the one they've been hinting about, you know." And the main guy's like, "Oh, whoa, what? Ain't no way, bro. That's pretty cool. Now that I know who my sister is, I'm gonna start trying to get with the honeys, right?" He don't really try, because, like, you know, ref, he not even trying to play like that, you know. But then, you know, there's this little dance, this little ball that his mom throws, you know, because, you know, the son, like, he's got to start meeting all these people if he wants to be the next CEO of the company, right? And, you know, him and his sister, that new girl. By the way, the new girl, middle schooler. Middle schooler. We'll get back to that later. Shows her titties too, by the way, but it's okay, because we find out later after this ball that she isn't actually his little sister. She's an actress who is sent by this secretary lady who works at the company, because that secretary lady is trying to set up the main guy so he can't get the company, right? She's trying to set up like scandal, whatnot. Because, you know, if that shit happened, that's why anime dumb, bro. 'Cause if that shit happened in America, bro, it would be so light, bro. Because Tyreek Hill has more baby mamas than I have fingers. So, like, you know, if the dad had like a second baby mama, that's not that bad. Realistically, he could have more. Because think about it, this guy is rich, right? He could have a couple baby mamas and nobody would bat an eye. But, you know, the secretary lady's trying to set him up with this big old conspiracy type, right? And, you know, has this actress come in, play the part of his fake little sister. And then we find out that it's not her, and it is actually the tsundere girl who has the same voice actress as Wendy from Fairy Tail. That's why it's crazy to me, because I like Fairy Tail. It's the same voice actress, which it's crazy because that voice actress has been in a bunch of Gooner shows. It really is impressive. I checked her Wikipedia. She's been in a lot of stuff, man. And like, she has such a distinct voice, you can always tell. But they did a good job in this show about how you couldn't tell that it was her from the start. Because, it was like, there's anonymous phone calls that were made to like the main guy, but they didn't use the same voice actress for all of them. So like, you couldn't tell that it was the main sister girl, the tsundere girl that was calling him, right? But we find out that the tsundere girl is like the sister, like a little bit before the main guy does. There's some really good environmental storytelling throughout, right? But the ending is a little bit funky. Not the ending, but like, the second to last episode, because he goes on a date with the tsundere girl before finding out that she is actually his real sister. And the episode before they go on a date, the actual real little sister girl gets like blackout drunk at the ball and like comes on to the main guy. So it's like, she naked, by the way, 18 plus show. See everything, pretty much. Not everything, but like most everything, most of the things. And it's like, whoa, hold on now. Once you watch the ending, you're like, whoa, hold on now. What's the deal here? And then like on the date, they kiss, and it's like, bro, birdie, boat, gangalang, bro, chacho. What are we doing here? And the reveal is actually even better, because in the third episode, we get faked out that the tsundere girl is the sister. It's presented as that, but then we find out like, oh wait, no, she's not actually the sister. Her and the other main love interest, who's like the really, really sweet one, like black hair, really sweet. They're actually both his childhood best friends, because the main guy, right, he has like a really bad memory and like amnesia from when he was a kid, because he got hit by a car trying to save the one dark-haired sweet girl from like a car, right? He got hit at her. He also has this big ass scar on his forehead. But yeah, and the main tsundere girl, in episode 3, they say they met while their fathers were like in the same. Her dad, the main tsundere girl's dad, was in the hospital at the same time as the main guy was in the hospital. So it's like, that's when they met, they started playing, they became friends. It's what they say. But then we find out that that's unrelated, that just also happened. And they're actually related for real. And it's like, bro, what? But the reveal is better because it already happened before, and they top it. So that's kind of cool. It's not the best show, but it's watchable. I will say though, it has some of the worst voice acting and lip syncing I have ever seen. Right? Sometimes they be speaking like Shakespeare, and sometimes like they don't use conjunctions a lot. Like they don't use it's, would've, can't. They also like cannot. It is. Like, you're not King Lear out here, bro, Chacho. Half the characters are lollies, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. That's a little bit weird. The main teacher is a lolly. That's a little bit weird. Also a little bit weird. You know, the most nudity in the show is the one, like, Agent 47, like, bodyguard girl, right? Who, but everyone thinks that the, like, a lot of the girls at the high school think that the main guy and the bodyguard guy are gay for each other, because they'd be sneaking off to go run through the mission briefing, run through some intel off private, like on the roof or whatever, in a closet. And then, you know, these hoes be walking in on them, and they're like, whoa, dude, you're like super gay. But they're not actually gay. Because, you know, he's gotta be gay for his sister, or straight for his sister. That's what they gotta do, obviously. But yeah, the whole time, they're really working to make sure he doesn't marry his sister, but they are not good at it. Some of the writing is bad, because sometimes the characters be super smart and deductive, and have very good like reasoning skills, and sometimes they're just not good at thinking. Because, like, there isn't a whole lot of deductive reasoning happening in the first 8 episodes, and then after that actress character gets introduced, the show gets way smarter. I wouldn't say better. It is smarter, though. But it's not a bad show. It's watchable. It's very tolerable. The ending is mediocre because it definitely is counting on a season 2 kind of a thing, even though it came out in 2013 and still doesn't have one. I am surprised though that it has an English dub, because a lot of stuff that's this goon or this niche doesn't get a dub. That's just cool. But that's probably also the reason for the horrible voice acting and bad lip syncing. It would definitely flow better as a manga, because the date that the main guy has with the real little sister, it's like a 5-minute long montage, and it sucks, and it's boring, and most of the show dragged. I'm not gonna lie. I was playing Solitaire on my phone. Solitaire, Necromerger, Uma Musume, scrolling reels. You know how it goes. Some of it was better than others, but it's not bad. Realistically, it's a 6 out of 10 show, because it is watchable. But some of the episodes and some of the bits are like 4 out of 10 level. But overall, it's a solid 6 out of 10. And I give it a 2 out of 5 on the Goon meter. Because it's a Gooner show, but it isn't all the way Gooner. And you'll understand what I mean by that if you watch other Gooner shows. Because, like, High School DxD, that I would argue is more of a 4 out of 5, 3 or 4 out of 5 on the Gooner meter. depending on which season. Season 1 and 2 of High School DxD are more of a 1, 2, 3 on it, depending on where you are, just because it's more of a writing tool. It's more of a thing that happens. And it's not the main central aspect of the show, and that's really what I think it is here. It's a romance show. It just goes. Most of it is most of the nudity, honestly, is like internal monologues while the girls are in the shower taking a bath, and not actually a lot of it is with the main guy. Is the interesting part. Most of it is on their own, but there is still a lot of it with the main guy. Yeah, overall, solid, like a flabby kind of 6 out of 10 overall, and a 2 out of 5 on the goon meter. And yeah, it's a fine show. Nakaimo, my little sister's among them. It's a good premise, but it could have been done better. That's about it.